Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Focus Daily Show. We begin each show by giving all praise where it is due to the Father, the Creator, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It is through him that I am being sent with this truth to the world as a chance for redemption for all. This video right here going to be short and sweet and to the point. We pretty much discussed the various acts and legislature that they passed in order to reclassify us from God's children to the state that we find ourselves as a people in today. Black. Nothingness. This Social Security Act was kind of like the final nail in the coffin. They literally gave us a number rather than a name. On previous videos, I showed a short film clip about Turtle Island, the man from Turtle Island or some sort of name, but it basically spoke about how this system truly unfolds unbeknownst to the average human, the average citizen on this ship that's bound for destruction, that's hellbound. The ship called the democratic system of America that we know today. This system that disenfranchised God's children and continue to attempt to hold us within debt slavery. But, however, the good news is, through our Lord Jesus Christ, we can be redeemed and saved. So today, folks, we're going to watch a little bit more of that video to give people one last opportunity to peep into the system of the beast. Get everything ready. Here we go. I was going to present a little Wikipedia information, but let's get to this video. The true story of Turtle Island. Bag it up. Make sure my mic, my sound right. All right, we're good to go. Get into it.
Hey, this is Mike, and I love cannabis. And I just found out this new company they're called Mood. Here's
how many people have an original? How many people have a certified copy? I've spent a few minutes reading this stuff once, so I'll give you guys the benefit of what we figured out. And I'll try to move through this really quick. And just tell me if I'm going too fast, or tell me if you've had enough and you want him to come up and speak again. Just let me know.
Oh yeah, that's definitely good.
Once upon a time, there was a area known as Turtle Island. Sick. That's what certain people refer to it as. And there was people on the land over here. And this lady or some of her agents came over and met with these people. And they said, look at all these resources you guys have. This is awesome. Can we set up shop and do some business? And these guys went, sure. Because they had no idea what that meant, really. And plus, they didn't really understand the language that much. So there was an agreement put in place.
I'm going to try not to interfere with this showing of this film. Just turn your discernment on, people.
Most of you in the logging industry will know that there's usually a 60-40 agreement. Somebody comes in, logs your bush, right? It's the guy doing the work and usually the people owning the property get it a cut like that. So what they agreed to do is set up a little store, and I'm not sure if I'm infringing on a copyright here, but we'll just call it a Walmart. So the 60% goes to her organization. She had a corporation that does business.
Excuse me, folks.
Known as Her Majesty. And Her Majesty had a bank where she borrows money from, known as the Crown. So any money that this little shop made, 60% of it went to Her Majesty, went to Her Majesty's bank, known as the Crown. And they did her books for her. The 40% went to these people, but these people didn't really know what to do with it anyway. They didn't need it. So
God's
Her
children.
Majesty organized a trustee. And then these people ended up also banking for these people. How convenient. And this corporation did all right, and then they said sooner or later they started up a second and a third and a fourth corporation inside the territory. Now, this agreement was in place. These people, or the corporations, exported lots of products and cut down as many trees and killed as many animals as they could, shipped it all over, wherever they wanted to, and 60% went to her bank account, 40% went to here, to this bank account. And the people in here work in the store. They all wore the blue uniform of Her Majesty, or I guess the red, we'll call it red, sure. And they were all bound by the laws of this corporation, okay? These people were her subjects. They weren't Canadians, they weren't Americans, they were British people. Then around that time,
Foreigners.
these people started traveling the world and they realized that they could issue passports, and they did. So I'm leaving this very general and very quick, right? But so these people were able to issue passports because they had land, language, and culture, and they were their own nation. These people were subjects of her. Then after a while, these guys got into a little bit of financial trouble, and they merged. Upper Canada was still solvent, Lower Canada. Well, if the one was still solvent, that means the other one wasn't. So they merged these two, and they formed the province of Canada, and then the Crown renewed the loans to these corporations. And then after a while, they got into more trouble, and then they formed the Dominion of Canada. And then the Crown again renewed her loans to keep this corporation afloat. And of course, 40% every time something leaves here, 40% is going into the trust fund. These people here are still all wearing the Walmart uniform, being owned, the corporation being owned by Her Majesty, sitting on the land, having the right to do business here, and that's it. And these people are still cashing in still accruing their 40% into a trust fund. So then they started again building a railroad across, and that bankrupted this corporation again. And funny thing happened that this corporation's revenue fund got merged with the Indian Trust Fund. And all of a sudden, these guys became a country and could issue passports. But if you want to be a country and issue passports, you need land, language, and culture. Does everybody see what happened?
Was brought forth.
This thing was
Negro
under
removal
distress
act.
sale. The only money was sitting in this trust
Right.
fund. The trustee of this trust fund said, hey, Walmart's 10 cents on the dollar, let's buy some stock. Now all of a sudden, all the people inside here are part of the corporation of Canada. They can issue passports and securities and all that other fun stuff, right?
No security.
However, this still applies, right? So now the people that are born in here and I'm going to speak in regards to Ontario, because I know those documents a little better, although we have the British Columbia ones here, you'll see them. If somebody, well, you guys will know what they look like more than I will.
I'm speaking in terms
If some
of
little baby
right
is born in here,
America.
that baby, well, because of the marriage contract, the baby is now the property of Her Majesty. This baby gets registered with the Vital Statistics Branch, the Register General, the Deputy Register, signs this document off and it says, I'm satisfied to the, somebody help me out, accuracy and completeness. Anyway, you look up the words on this, where the Register General signs off on this. When you look in that law dictionary, maybe somebody can do this as an exercise later, take a look at what a deed is. A deed must describe the property in full detail and be accurate and complete. This is the deed to this. There's also a law, the trust law, that says where an instrument is executed after July 1st, 1867, the holder thereof is deemed to be the trustee without conveyance of rights or title. Okay, in a nutshell. Something gets signed, the holder thereof is deemed to be the trustee. An instrument in writing that conveys an interest in land from the grantor to the grantee. It's usually used to transfer realty. Its main function is to pass title. And deed of trust, a legal transfer from the trustor to the trustee. Anyway, we'll just skip that for now. It's like, it goes on. So what happened is, this instrument was executed. The holder thereof is whom? How many people have a statement of live birth? How many people have an original? How many people have a certified copy? Ah, where's the original?
That's what I want to know.
Birth certificate, statements of live birth are done under letters patent registration system under common law England under existing royal ancient charter. Common law existing royal ancient charter. She's got the original, she's holding the title to this. For everyone in here. Well, almost everyone. There's a few exceptions in the room. Okay, so she's holding the title to this. How many people have heard her referred to as the Queen Mum?
Yep.
How old is this?
1867?
Usually you'll see that this is registered 2 to 3 days after the baby was born.
Right.
And 100 years from now, how old's the baby? It's still 3 days. It never ages. This document always says it's 3 days old. The Queen Mum is still responsible for all of these babies. Okay? This indicates your share of the Commonwealth of Canada. How many people know Canada's a Commonwealth country? Right? Well, your share of the Commonwealth, if there's 32 million people inside this colony, your share of the Commonwealth is denoted by 1/32 millionth of that value.
Well, we like to keep it short here on the Focus Daily Show. Give people just a bit of information to chew on and swallow. But until the next time, Focus Daily.